This is Progress Culture.
So for me to say, oh, our legislators are all aging out, but seriously, no. I mean, you're of the older generation, and so for you to recognize that is probably more than most people your age can say. And I guess my question to you, Paul, would be, I mean, what brings you to that conclusion? Is it just watching the way things are right now?
Yes, I mean, just the way things are exactly right now.
Yeah.
You have Congress and Senate, and they can't pass anything that is for the people. I'm not talking about for the friends of theirs that own giant businesses or the friends of theirs that own small business. I'm talking about the everyday 90% of the population which are having a very difficult time in many of the states. And something does need to be done, and they're actually not doing anything. And they're waiting, and they're talking, and they're waiting, and they're talking, but they're flying back and forth to their mansions. And I'm sorry, but I have much more faith in this person, Brian, that I've just met than a Pelosi or McConnell, whom are very interested in how much they own and control.
So Paul, I guess, sorry, Dominic, I'm interviewing now.
No. This is
how do we? I agree with a lot of what you're saying, Paul. So how do we prevent, because Brian was just saying,
shorten their terms would be one answer.
I mean, because I'm genuinely curious. Like so he's just said, new people come in, there's fresh ideas. Some of them work, some don't. How do we prevent people from falling into the same patterns? You're saying term limits, or is it just more access to these folks?
Yeah, well, I think that, if you're going to be a senator, I think you should be a senator for 4 years and then go do whatever else you're capable of doing that you were doing before you became a senator.
But there is some know-how, right? There's institution.
No doubt about it.
There's institutional know-how that takes, there's that learning curve.
Yes.
So I don't, but again, it comes back to what's the magic number, because maybe 4 years is too short.
Then maybe it's 8.
Yeah.
So
but I don't think it's 40.
Yeah.
And lifetime benefits.
Yeah. After one term, I agree. To touch on term limits, I mean, I probably don't even have to, but that is an issue I've kind of flip-flopped back personally. Yeah. Whether we should have and whether we shouldn't, because you're right. There is institutional knowledge of just knowing how things work and getting things done and being able to usher people along. I couldn't be as effective as I have been if it weren't for some of the older legislators who have been like, no, you can't just do that. You have to go over here first. And it's like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, why do I have to do that? And they're like, then they explain that to me. I'm like, oh, well, that makes a lot of sense too. I'm just ignorant to the whole process. Right. So there is value in that. I think two main things that jump out when you say that, Paul. The first is political contributions in this country are completely out of control. And it's not... the bulk of the political contributions happen in the large form. And it's the really, really rich donating to the same 400 elections across the board and giving massive amounts of money. And then it's not even just that. It's, especially at Washington, not at the state level because we have more stringent rules, but in Washington, it's dark money. You don't know where that money's coming from.
No.
And so that's a problem too, because even if there's no corruption happening, it still gives the appearance or alludes to the fact that something could happen and you're giving kickbacks. And we shouldn't want that in government. The second is, at a federal level across the board, I really think that they need to pass some sort of gerrymandering reform and make as many districts as humanly possible competitive. And, I was very fortunate in my election. The southern end of St. Mary's County is the most competitive district in the entire state of Maryland. It is basically Republicans and Democrats within 0.4 percentage points, and then the independents decide the vote. I mean, That is what it is. There is no other district like my district. There's a couple that are close, but none are a 50-50, drag them, knock them down, drag it out fight. And I felt that. And because I felt that, I am then forced to listen to the other side a lot more. And whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, if you know you are on the cusp of being ousted, or there's any kind of you're going to be in a fight next go. I mean, you do everything you can to listen to as many people as you possibly can, so that way you're actually going to Annapolis or Washington or whatever your state capital is, and advocating on behalf of them. And I mean, I value that experience that I don't know that anybody else, certainly not many people in the state of Maryland, get. And frankly, I don't know if many people across the country get that, that are in a representative position. So I'm fortunate to represent Southern St. Mary's. The rest of the county is not like my district. And I think that I benefit greatly from this.